left, right, center, left surround, right surround.
I'm an artist who became a psychiatrist and practiced medicine for many years. And Andrew Rush was my printmaking teacher in 1969 and 70 at the University of Arizona. When I was in my undergraduate degree, the Vietnam War was going. This is 1969, and they were drafting. It was the first draft, and my number was 69. I was going to be drafted into the war. Andy said, Eric, he said, if you continued your education, you could avoid the draft. And he said, you're always talking about being a doctor. He said, why don't you try to become a doctor? I said, Andy, I can't be a doctor. I'm an artist. Artists cannot be a doctor. And so Andy said, well, why don't you try, or you'll look back perhaps on your life and say, I should have tried. And I visited him here at Rancho Linda Vista over 40 years. And on this day here as an artist, I was invited to put up an exhibition of my work. And that's why I'm in Rancho Linda Vista. I live in a small community on the Rio Grande. It's 30 miles down the river on the border from Laredo, Texas. And when Trump was president, he was putting a wall across the southern United States, and he wanted to put a wall through this historic city, Laredo. And a group of activists in Laredo organized and convinced the city council to not give permission for the wall to come right through this historic town. We painted a mural 2 blocks long on the street. And the mural says, defund the wall, fund our future. Across the street was the federal courthouse where the case was being heard by the judge to stop at the federal level the wall from being put in Laredo. And I made a print. From the sky view in the print is a small drone, and the drone looked down at us waving at the drone. The print I made was a stash house in Laredo. There are lots of stash houses. As migrants or refugees are trafficked to the north by cartels, huge industry, once they cross the Rio Grande, they find their ways to what are called stash houses, houses where people gather. The wall that we were trying to prevent in Laredo exists in southern Arizona, across California, and the wall is still going to be built because we are going to build a cage that we live in. And it won't work. It won't work. You can build a cage, and so I say to people, I said, your wall is my cage. I worked in Somalia with refugees. When I came back from Somalia, I said, we can't live in a world where people have nothing and we have everything. And now this is 50 years later, and I'm living on the edge of this evolving movement of people, from war, from climate change, from just the chaos of the world, of people moving towards the United States. So I'm a social content artist. So things that happen around me find their way into making my work. I mean, I learned this in Somalia, where I was a doctor with just thousands of starving children. And that's where I really began making prints as a way to help myself feel better. By the making of the art, I heal myself. Prints function by the multiples going out into the world. I began making art in the space between art and medicine. That has been a subject of my work forever. Educating people about what's happening on the border is a social function of art to educate. I'm a doctor, teacher, educator who uses art to educate out.